The title is The Secret of Right Action. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. One of the most famous stories of the Gospel is that of Martha and Mary. Jesus, visiting the home of Martha, was teaching while her sister Mary sat at his feet, absorbing his divine love and wisdom. Martha, meanwhile, busied herself with serving her guests and was upset with Mary for not helping her. "Lord," she cried, "doesn't it matter to you that my sister has left me to do all this service alone? Please ask her to help me." "Martha, Martha," Jesus answered, "thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her." This story is classic, for Martha's complaint is very understandable and not on the surface or of it spiritually wrong. Jesus might well have told Mary to get up and help her. Nor do we really know that he didn't, considerate as he always was of others' needs. But the teaching here doesn't concern the obvious dilemma of devotees, to work for God or to spend all one's time in prayer. It concerns rather the attitude of the mind. Jesus didn't tell Martha, "Martha, you are doing too much." He told her rather, "You are letting your work affect your inner peace." That was the contrast, not work versus contemplation, but restless preoccupation versus peaceful absorption under all circumstances. As it says in the Bhagavad Gita, the chapter 2, actions performed under the influence of desire are greatly inferior to those which are guided by wisdom. Happiness eludes people when they act for self-interest. Seek shelter, therefore, in the equanimity of wisdom. Thus, through Holy Scriptures, God has spoken to mankind. Good Sunday to everyone. The story of Martha and Mary is well known and has so much to teach us. Let's try to get into their position in that moment, and let's try to create in our imagination this scene. There is this beautiful family of the brother Lazarus and the two sisters, Martha and Maria, and they are very loved by Jesus. Jesus, together with his disciples, that is traveling, going around as his inspiration flows without a program. And one day, Jesus and his disciples is around close to the house of Lazarus and Mary and Martha. At that moment, they did not have WhatsApp. And Peter probably didn't have a way to send a message to Martha. "Dear Martha, we are very close to your house, together with Jesus and some 12 of us, brothers. Soon we will be very close to your house, and we would be very happy to try your very good food. We are arriving in 1 hour. Hello. Goodbye, Peter. She did not know all of this. But telepathy existed even then, so could be that she could have received a message. But anyway, Jesus and these 12 arrive and they go to the living room, and Jesus starts to talk with people, with everyone. And what does Mary do? Mary goes together with the disciples and sits at the feet of Jesus. And Martha, instead, seeing all of this amount of people, goes into the kitchen to prepare a lunch. And she starts a banquet, and she starts to prepare, but she's tired, and she's hoping and expecting her younger sister, to come and help. But Mary is not thinking about all the work that Martha is doing. And at one point, Martha gets angry and explodes and goes to Jesus and says, she really is telling off Jesus, and she's saying, Jesus, you're not taking care of my sister that is letting me alone. Tell her to come and help me. But underlining, we can see the relationship, a familiar relationship with Jesus. We normally imagine Jesus very far away, but here we see that they had a close relationship, a friendship, and Martha could permit herself to say something like this to Jesus, and to explode and say her emotions to this great friend, Jesus. With this explosion, we can partially judge Martha. See these two personalities, spiritual personalities, the person that works and the person that meditates. Now I'm going to ask you all, who here identifies more with Martha? Good. Who is more identified with Maria? For us that have identified with Martha, he would like to become more Maria. The masters come and they show us through their life the point where we have to arrive, the self-realization, while the disciple is really the work in progress. Disciples have to find the path and even make mistakes. So we see the mistakes of Martha in this circumstance. What did she say to Jesus? There were two messages there. That my sister has left me alone. The first one. And let's see this. What is the error here? To have expectations that someone else has to do what we are doing. Expect that what we do, others have to do. That others must help. And this is a great error, to judge and to look at what others are doing without seeing what we do. And to compare ourselves with others. This is very strong, this error, spiritual error, to judge others. Yogananda said, never create words between you and others. I remember two friends, good friends, that came here many years ago. They always came together here to Ananda. They started their spiritual path together. They were neighbors, and they were really good friends. And one day, one tells the other that she has a story, relationship with another man, not with her husband, but with another man. And the friend is completely impressed by this, and she's very rigid from what she's hearing, and she starts really telling others that this is not right. And this woman comes here alone and tells me this story, and she tells me, you and everyone of Ananda should tell her that she is really not doing the right thing, that she should not do this. And I said, dear, calm yourself. Each one has his own path, but you as well have your own path. It is very bad what you are doing by judging this friend, good friend of yours, because there is a spiritual law that says whoever judges the other, he has to live that on his own self. And she said, oh, never. I am totally loyal to my husband. And I said, okay, that's right, that's good. Some years after, she comes back and she tells me that she has a relationship with another man and that she is expecting a baby. This is the law of karma. So we don't want to be like Martha and expect and judge others. Martha does another error that is part of our path, spiritual path. When she says, my sister left me alone. So Martha, in her work, in her service, feels that she is alone, and we know that we are never alone. That work and karma yoga are totally different things. Working means to do, act with our own strength and our own experience and talents, trying to do our best, but to do it for ourselves. And this is the maximum of ego. I can do it. I will think about this. I am capable. And not to refer to the origin of everything. Doing everything what we do for God, with God, and for His glory. This is karma yoga. It is not the simple work. But Martha, in that moment, while Maria is absorbing the vibrations of the Lord, she was thinking of what she had to do. She had to make a cook for 15 people, and there was not a lot of time. And probably she had to go somewhere to get some eggs and some milk, and she was immersed in what she was doing without recognizing that Jesus was with her in the kitchen, just as she was with Maria in the living room. And this is an error that we all do, because when we are doing, there is an energy, and this energy draws us. And at what point we are totally immersed in this vortex of doing, and we forget why we are doing it. The difference between work and karma yoga is not what we are doing, but with what attitude we are doing it. The songs we have sung today, with the chants, when I wake up, when I work, When I'm in joy, when I experience pain, I will think only of thee, always thee. This is the right attitude of Karma Yoga. It is a beautiful path towards self-realization. How much I will love you, Lord. How much I will serve you, Lord, all my life. And here we can see the perfection of the Karma Yoga. Jesus responds to Martha, and he says, and here we see two teachings that are very important for each of us. And it's the correction of the errors that we easily make. And he says, and you can even feel him because he loves her, Martha. And he says, Martha, Martha, you worry and you agitate yourself for so many things. And here we see two things that we want to overcome. The first one is the unsettling, the restlessness of being desperate, the not being centered in God, in our spine and inner peace, but to be identified with what we are doing, with that energy, not having a point of reference that is peaceful inside of us. Swami Kriyananda, he did so much, really a man, to imagine all of what he realized in one life. Who here could write 150 books? I have difficulty writing the first one, but he was active and continuously. His name, Kriyananda, bliss, Ananda, through action. And he told us his secret. He said, I do whatever God wants me to, but I don't lose my inner peace. This was his reference point, to have this centeredness. And he gave us advice by saying, when you are working and you are immersed in your activities, I would say that we should do mini pauses, stopping and to breathe, to do some pranayama, and with every breath to do our affirmation, joy, 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 and to start this practice in our heart with our breath. Joy, 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 and to bring from our heart up to the spiritual eye, repeating joy, joy, joy. And this makes us remember why we are doing the work we're doing, not to be tired, but to experience the joy of being in the presence of God and to feel His power, feel its love. This being centered, this is what we should bring to all our activities. Yogananda had one aphorism. He would say that we should be actively calm and calmly active. Let's listen to what he said. This is what from Whispers of Eternity. Father, teach me, he calmly active and calmly and actively calm. Let me become a prince of peace, sitting on the throne of inner poise, as I direct my kingdom of activity. Everything is here. I will repeat because it's beautiful. Father, teach me to be calmly active and actively calm. Let me become a prince of peace, sitting on the throne of inner poise as I direct my kingdom of activity. So we can all become all Kriyananda, joy in action. Jesus also said, you not only that she would be agitated, but also worried. We all have this tendency of becoming worried of what could happen, or if something we cannot take it to resolution, or if there were things that can happen. And many times we can become paralyzed because our mind, in this tendency of doubting, it makes us unable to act. What does our worry mean? It means that we don't have faith in God, that we don't believe that He will be there for us, on our side, that His task is to come be with us. We again think that we are not connected. I would like to tell you another story of Martha, because when we go home, we don't think bad of our Martha. She only makes errors. And this is another very famous episode in Jesus' life. It talks about the same family when the brother gets sick, very sick. And Martha sends a message to Jesus, not through WhatsApp, but through someone, some messenger, and she informs him that Lazarus is about to die. And Jesus answers, there is time. I cannot come in this moment, I will come in later. And the sisters are in anguish. And 3 days pass. Lazarus dies. At that point, Jesus says to his disciples, the disciples say, we have received a message that Lazarus has died. And Jesus says, no, he is not dead, he lives. And they say, no, it's 3 days now that he is dead. And Jesus says, arrives. And while he is arriving, Martha runs to him, and she tells him, Lord, if you would have been here, I'm sure that my brother would not be dead. But I know also that everything that you ask from your Father, He will give to you. And Jesus answers, Lazarus lives. And Martha says, no, I know that. Jesus says, Lazarus will resurrect. And Martha says, yes, I know that on the last day everyone will resurrect, even as Lazarus. And Jesus says, no, Martha, I am the resurrection, I am the life. Who believes in me will have eternal life. Do you believe? And Martha answers, yes, Lord, I know you are the Christ, that you are the Messiah, and that you can do whatever. And Jesus goes to the tomb, and we know how this story ends. After 4 days, Lazarus, when Jesus commands, Jesus says with a strong voice, Lazarus, come out, and he comes out. And we see here the great faith, intuition that Martha had. So, as work in progress, we have many aspects. We have the right and the need to make errors in our path, in our spiritual path. And we can talk about this, but also in the deepness of our self, of our inner self, we know that for the Lord, everything is possible. Jesus, in his answer to Martha, says another thing. He says, Martha, Martha, you worry, you are about so many things, but Maria has chosen the best part. And this part will not be taken away. What is the best, the part that won't be taken away? Everything that we do, as big and important or humble it is, when we die, all of this dies with us. They will be taken away, everything that we do. But there is one thing that will not be taken away, and that is what we become through what we do. So it's not what we do that counts, but what we become through our service. And to know more about Maria and the things that will not be taken, from her, I invite you to come the next week for the next episode when we will talk about this story and the Mary as a character.